Hi, I'm Liam, aka Grey Rose, and welcome back to Road to the Hall of Fame. We're currently on 28 points, so still, about 130 off where we really need to be, but we're going to keep cracking through some of these apprentice labs and hopefully not making as much of a complete hash of them as I did on the last one. So this next one is script context XSS. We've done the first lab of these two in a previous. I think it was episode 1 or 2 that we would have done that in. That would be episode 1, right at the end of episode 1. Script context XSS is one of my favourites. So go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. But if you have, we can just jump straight into this one. Look, plenty of people have solved it. Again, it's only Apprentice, and hopefully, as I said, doesn't take too long to do. Let's just bang test in here. Hello test, and then let's just have a quick look at what's going on. So it's got document span name inner text equals test. So inner text is quite interesting, and I'll show you why that's interesting just here. If we were then to do the kind of standard DOM based attack on error equals 1, let's just do that. When we submit that, it is in there, but because it's set as text, it's set. You can't do anything with it. So this is a similar technique to what a lot of like React-like frameworks do now to prevent against cross-site scripting. Is it'll just treat everything as text. So you can't. It's never going to be interpreted by a browser as HTML because it's just treated as text. It's just treated as something that you display to a user or you inject it, but it's never going to be processed. However, I think what we've got here is a classic script. Then breakout there, then alert one, then like that. And oh, that didn't work. Oh, did that not work? So I have made it harder. Nice. So even with our our thing here, it's not going to work. So are they just stripping? Yeah, no, it looks like they might be stripping double quotes. We can. That should hopefully throw her. Yeah. So that should hopefully throw an error. But we can't then get anything in front of that. So what we're going to do instead is we might be able to do that. Yeah, there you go. So you can see now that that actually kills it. So there's two processing engines going on. Let me just do it. I'll explain what this works in a second. There you go. There's two processing engines in a browser when a page is rendered. This is a horrific oversimplification, but basically, you have your HTML processor that runs first, and then you have your JavaScript processor, which is passed off to something called the V8 engine. Now, because the script context, the HTML processor part goes first, it doesn't actually recognize when something's meant to be a script or not, right? So all it's seeing is this, a closed script tag there, and then breaking out of it, and then ending it. So it's saying, right, your script ends there and process the rest of this as HTML. Whereas obviously what we're wanting to do is, or what the creator of the site's meaning to do is to treat all of this just as within this kind of in a text call, but the processing engine doesn't see that, so you can use this to break out. Now, this is a classic example of sometimes people will reflect content in JSON in the body of the response, and if it's reflected in JSON, what that means is you can do a similar technique to this. So you use a closed script tag to break out of that, and then you start your execution. So we're obviously using an image tag here. There's also using script tags and things like that. But very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Cool. So see how that's all processed. Anyway, that will now I'm just going to update that to document cookie. Boom. Grab that and submit it. I'm on a roll already. So stored XSS via the user agent. This is going to be one where we are going to have to use burp. We can't just use a browser. Well, we could, but actually, should we try doing that? I forget how to do it on here. I think it's one of the configurations. I can't remember. There is a way of setting it. Definitely, there is a way of setting it in Firefox. You might be able to do it in Chrome using one of the. Well, you can do it using extensions, definitely. But anyway, I digress. Let's launch this. Let's do this. Enter your name. So test. Hello test, and then it's got that in there as well. So this is going to be a post request. Oh no, get request. There you go. So we're going to send that. Send that to there, and then if we reload that, do that. Name equals testing 123. Do that, and then reload it, and it says testing 123 there. So instead of here, we're actually going to do image source equals x equals doc. Bloody hell, document dot cookie. I'll type today. Bang, and then when we reload that, we then get our execution because it's in there. You can actually kind of quite legitimately do this. So this is an attack normally against log files and things like that, or admin views where people are storing your user agent. But if they do that, then you know, again, you can type. Normally it's a blind vector, so you'd want it to call out to like a collaborator instance or a Notify instance or interact sh instance to actually prove that you've done it. I think you normally don't actually view it unless you're doing like kind of penetration testing and you actually have access to the admin panel, in which case it's blind, but it's not blind because you have access to both sides of it. But if you're doing bug bounty, then yeah, you'd normally inject like an image tag pointing back to your collab server with an ID on it, and then you know which one's fired. Or script like fetch stuff back to your collab server. Anyway, that's great. Oh, we're on a roll. Right, file name XSS. Let's have a look at this. Launch the lab. Okay, let's do this. Choose file. Cool. Let's grab a screenshot of that and submit it. File uploaded. And last file uploaded is screenshot.jpg. So let's go here. Let's post there. We've got a screenshot in there, and then based on again, because of the name of this lab, we can make some assumptions, right? It's probably going to be in the name of it. So let's do image source equals x, one error equals 1, and close that. The file's been uploaded. We reload this, and our payload fires. You can legitimately do this on a lot of apps as well. A lot of apps will do a lot of like content validation on files you upload because they're so worried about web shells. Rightly worried about web shells, right? Web shells are bad, and you definitely don't want one on your application. But they then forget some of the other encoding, so things like file name encoding and stuff. So let's just quickly modify that to document cookie. Fire that off. Ooh. Java, you can't be sorted as database column because length exceeds length. Oh, because, yeah. Because exceeds length. 57 is larger than 50, so we just get rid of that. And then it'll work. That's quite funny. I didn't know we actually limited that. One badge. Right then. So if we do this, I mean, I think we can actually click on that as well. Oh, it's not found anyway. But yeah, if we grab this, we should then be able to submit that and it'll fire and lab successfully solved. Beautiful. Right then. Safe HTML filter. Oh, okay. So now we're going to start to get into labs that are around like filter bypasses. So like your very, very Billy basic WAF bypasses and things like that you might use that you might have to use on a bug bounty project. Obviously in pen testing, you should be asking to be allowed listed. That's controversial, but you should definitely check. Oh yeah, see, there you go. Hello image. So let's do image source alert on error equals alert. There we go. If we inspect this, you'll see that they're probably just stripping out the on error. So there's two ways of getting around this. The first one that we're going to try is by nesting it. So I'm going to do on error there, and see if that works. It's not worked. Sometimes that works. Sometimes people just like try and remove it once, but they'll forget to do it recursively. So you can do like script, but then put script in the middle of it, and then when they remove the middle value, you actually get let's sort that out for a second. You actually get execution based on that. So you get it kind of smushes, it removes it, and then when the string fires back in, then it's still a script. Right then. So now we've got to find a way of doing this. So it could be we could try on load equals alert one. No, so that's not going to work either. The way you normally would do this is actually let's just try something else. Let's just try SVG here. Yeah, that's not working either. So what you'd normally do is you'd send this to repeater. Oh, sorry, to intruder, and you'd type enum which tag they allow. Normally, there's one they've forgotten, which you then find and you kind of enumerate it. I think in this instance, because we're allowed SVG tags, we'll be able to use a favorite payload of mine. Actually, let's just try script tags as well. Yeah, so it's not allowing script tags, it is allowing images, but it's not allowing event handlers. You can see it's just nuking that. If I do script like that, there you go. It's not it's not identifying that as malicious. So if we do something else. Let's see what we can do. Are we allowed iframes? That's the classic one. Ah, we are. Okay, so what we're going to do here instead is source equals JavaScript. There you go. We should be able to do dot cookie as well. There you go. So yeah, classic kind of iframe thing. So if they're blocking a lot of things, but they are allowing certain tags through, this iframe payload's like pretty good for making sure you can see it. We'll probably do one more, and then call it a day. Large app basic XSS. I think I know what this one is. There's 50 pages, and one of these has a XSS payload on. And then yeah, you can see that it's there. So what we do here is we go to intruder. It's kind of an interesting kind of thought experiment. Oh, for goodness sakes. Let me just select the one there. There you go. And then it's going to be a numbers. This is going to be really slow, so we'd probably actually script this if it was any bigger, but from 1 to 50, like that. We start the attack. It should, yeah. I'll just click through all of these, and then we will. Oh yeah, and you actually can only filter. So what you'd be doing is you'd actually write a Python script to do this. If it was more than 50, like I think some of the later ones do actually end up going to like 30 or 40, or like hundreds of pages. So you will have to use scripts for them. But as it currently stands, I don't think we necessarily need to do that. What we'll do here is we can't even filter. But what you can do is you can filter by length. And so because it's not going to be encoded, it's going to be much shorter. And you can see that that's actually the one that we need to do. So we're just going to right click, copy URL, grab that, it executes here. And then we're going to replace that with document.cookie. We're not in all caps. Document.cookie. That'll then fire. Boom. And just like that, we have our lab successfully solved. Lovely. I think I'm going to leave it there for the time being. We're on 43 points, so 120 away from where we need to be. And yeah, well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.